Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, episode number 74. This is the show where we give you a quick look at some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting right now. If you want to learn more about these stories, in the show notes down below, I'll put a link to each story. Read about for yourself. Come up with your own opinions. I'll love to hear from you. If you're new here, hey, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It helps us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing here. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. So hit that subscribe button if you've been here a while. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. First deal of the day. The Tablo Dual Lite DVR is on sale for $99.99, down from the typical $139.99. This is a great deal, and it includes a new commercial skipping feature on DVR recordings, which will automatically skip the commercials on many channels and many shows. So check it out, great price. You do need an external hard drive for this. They do have versions with internal hard drives built in if you would prefer that instead. They cost a little bit more though. If you're looking for more cord cutting deals, I know we talk about some here. We have a lot of news at cordcuttersnews.com, but we also have a lot of deals. Go to cordcuttersnews.com and click on the deal tab, or use the link in the show notes down below to see all the cord cutting deals we can find right now. If you find a deal, some cord cutting news, or really anything about the world of cord cutting you want to share, let us know. A lot of these deals, a lot of this news comes from viewers and readers like you letting us know about them. So click on that Contact Us tab, send us an email. I'll try to reply to as many as I can or somebody on the team. But a special thank you to everybody who shares news and tips. It's a huge help. All right, first story, news story of the week. And this I think is really cool. Wanted to touch base on this again. Amazon has hired the owner of AFTV News, a very popular Amazon Fire TV news site. And Elias, the owner, has been kind of I would say the leading voice in the Fire TV fan community. Doing great work over there. He's announced that he has taken a job with Amazon as a Fire TV team product manager. Now, this doesn't give him full control of the Fire TV, as I'm sure some people would wish he would, but it does give him a voice within the Amazon team that's developing the Fire TV. And I wanted to kick off a little bit more discussion about what you would like to see happen now. You know, Amazon's hired a big fan of the Fire TV, somebody who's a voice in the community. If you could do anything with the Fire TV, change the user interface, change the remote, maybe, hey, bring back the old box version of the Fire TV. What one thing would you change or do with the Fire TV? Let's be reasonable and realistic here. So leave us a comment. I'd love to know. You know, I know a lot of people have clamored for a more powerful Fire TV. They kind of answered that a little bit with the Fire TV Stick 4K, far more powerful than the other players that were on the market at the time. But what other things would you like to see Amazon do? I'd love to hear from you. All right, next story of the day. Spectrum has given us some data about how much data cord cutters use. According to Spectrum, the average cord cutter uses 400 gigabytes of data a month. This is good news for people who are worried about cord cutting with a 1 terabyte data cap. According to Spectrum, most cord cutters will stay under it. Not all cord cutters. I do hear regularly about cord cutters who go over 1 terabyte. But this does line up with what I have heard from our readers who say that they stay under their 1 terabyte data cap when they're using it for streaming. My question to you is, do you know how much data you use? If you do, what is it? Are you regularly going over 1 terabyte? I think some power users will, but I find that the vast majority, when we do our quarterly surveys, say they stay underneath their data cap. So I'm very interested to hear from you. How much data do you use? Do you stay under it? When I cut the cord, I actually had CenturyLink that back in the day, this was a long time ago, I'm old, right? That they had a 250 gigabyte data cap. And I was successfully able to stay under it. Few quick tips for that. Number one, if you want to stay under your data cap, turn off autoplay. The number one data suckers, things like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, that you have a Fire TV or Roku connected, you set the sleep timer, you fall asleep, the TV turns off, but they keep streaming for a while and you're burning up data. So turn off autoplay is the number one tip. If I could tell you anything, that'll save many people hundreds of gigabytes a day, because sometimes you're burning 3 or 4 hours worth of data as you sleep every night. When you do that, that's hundreds of gigabytes you're burning up when you're not actually watching it. So turn off autoplay. Just at the end of the show, just hit that button that says continue to the next episode, and you can still watch the next one, but save a lot of data. So check that out. Do you have any data cap tips to how to stay under your data cap? leave us a comment. I'll love to hear from you. But it's very interesting to see Spectrum say the average cord cutter uses 400 versus the average internet subscriber who uses just 200 gigabytes a month. All right, next story up. Cox is joining Comcast in launching a live TV streaming service and a streaming player called the Contour. I hope I'm saying that right. Contour? Contour? I'm assuming that's right. Now, not very competitive. It starts at like $80 for their streaming service. We were able to find out pricing for the Contour streaming player. Will be like Comcast's new streaming player that charges you $5 a month. Will it be free as long as you're subscribed? Do you buy it and then keep it? I don't know. One reader said in the market they were in, this has been advertised for a while. I was unable to find any details about this other than an FAQ page on the Cox website. Thank you to a reader who let us know about that. But we were able to confirm it's real, that Cox does have a streaming service. They, over a year ago, were surveying people about the possibility of a new streaming service. Now it seems it's live. They're going after cord cutting. And even on the website, they have a side-by-side chart. Like, look, we have these features that Sling doesn't, or Hulu doesn't, or YouTube doesn't. And most of them were kind of like, really, that doesn't matter. It's like, oh, our DVR saves slightly longer storage for about twice the amount of money. But, you know, hey, we can save you a little bit more DVR space. Yeah, to me, I would rather save half the price, but that's me. Maybe you're different. But anybody here actually use this? Anybody got the device? It looks to be maybe an Android TV device. The most interesting thing about it, it could maybe be running their custom OS. The most interesting thing about it is it does have an HDMI in. So you can plug in like a game system or a DVD player and then pass it through the device out to your TV, but manage that input through your streaming player, removing the need to have inputs and multiple inputs to access the content you want. So I'm not sure when this launched. I know we have not reported on it. It is interesting to see more and more cable companies, like Jess and I talked about yesterday during the podcast, or actually 2 days ago during the podcast, excuse me, more and more cable companies who say cord cutting is not real, but we're going to launch a streaming service just because what the heck, right? It's like they want both sides of the argument here. It's very interesting to me what's happening there. Let me know though. I'd love to find somebody who uses either Comcast or Spectrum or Cox one. Let us know which one it is. Leave us a review. If it's cheaper, no contract, and it works for you, great. But I'd love to hear from you. Anybody here think that this Cox $80-some deal is the best deal out there? I'd love to know. You do need Cox Internet. You do need a specific Cox modem from Cox to make this work. All right, next up, home internet is expanding. There's a lot of efforts happening to basically expand cord cutting into the realm of home internet, where instead of just cutting the cord on your TV side of your Comcast bill, maybe you're cutting that internet cord too and going with a different provider you may never have had. One of the big ones right now is Amazon and SpaceX are launching satellites into space into very low Earth orbit. I always get this question. This is far lower than current satellite providers with far faster speed, far lower latency, much more effective. Now SpaceX is got FCC approval, they're getting closer, but that's not the only thing happening. Of course, we know about 5G, fixed wireless, and other things. Well, the FCC has announced that they intend to expand rural internet with the goal of 106,000 homes and businesses in 2019 getting internet in rural areas and high-speed internet. But they're going to use the Universal Service Fund to do this. So the Universal Service Fund was created a long time ago. It's on your phone bill, and it was used to roll out home phone service to rural America. Well, now they're turning around and saying, hey, home phone is not nearly as important as it used to be with wireless and more. What happens if we use that money, which is now just kind of sitting there, and put it towards home internet in rural areas? So we're now seeing the FCC take this fund here, take the money that was earmarked for home internet, and pushing it towards, or for home phone, and pushing it towards home internet. I think this is a great logical next step for this fund, where home phone, I think for most people is very available, or most people now, as we've seen, go for wireless. But most people don't have access in very rural areas to high-speed internet. Now with this move here with the FCC and fixed wireless and 5G and low Earth orbit satellites and more, this is good news for Americans to get access to high-speed internet. It not only brings out the ability to stream content and not have to pay for cable or satellite, but it also does a great job of bringing in opportunity. You can now launch an internet-based business from your rural cabin somewhere if that's what you want, if you have internet. And I really am excited about this. I'm excited about the possibilities of it. These things don't happen overnight. All this news is great, but it's going to take a little while. Now, it's not going to take 20 years. I've seen people like, oh, that won't happen in my lifetime. SpaceX already has satellites in space testing this out. They intend to start launching satellites soon. We'll see when. Amazon is spending a lot of money. They're very excited about this because internet access for them is important for the continuation of their business. So look for this to become a reality sooner than you think. My question to you is, do you live in one of the rural areas? Are you living in a rural area where internet's hard to get? What are your internet options? How excited are you about new competitors focusing on rural America? I'd love to know. Well, that's it for today. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Please be safe. Please enjoy. Hopefully you're having beautiful weather wherever you are. And come back here Monday. We have some big things in the works. Continue to develop it. And if you have not checked out our new weekly podcast, we have both audio and video. It's now available on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, wherever they call it now. I'll put a link to all that in the show notes, and we'll have a post on the corecardsnews.com where you can read more about the podcast. So check it out. I will see you on Monday for our daily cord cutting update. Take care, everybody.